Hey there, family. Are you ready to shake up your health routine with a twist of fun? Welcome to Samba Tree, where we bring the rhythm of nature right to your doorstep. Dance your way to vitality with our vibrant selection of herbs, herbal powders, extracts, and more. Sip on our soothing teas and embrace the power of sea moss for that extra health boost. But wait, there's more. Have you tried our refreshing soursop drink? It's 100% pure with no additives or preservatives. It's a soursop treat that'll make your taste buds tango. And let's not forget our natural dental and body products. They're free from toxic ingredients, so you can feel good inside and out. Looking for a touch of elegance? Check out our stunning copper jewelry and brand new copper drinking vessels. They're not just beautiful, they're good for your health too. At Samba Tree, we're always adding new products to keep your wellness journey exciting. So what you waiting for? Visit us at sambatree.com today and let the rhythm of health move you. That's sambatree.com. See you there, family.
All right, we're back. Thank you so much for tuning in to Digital Plantation. That's right. Make sure if you haven't gone already, if you haven't visited, make sure you go head on over to Samba Tree. Again, that's sambatree.com. All right, so let's get into this topic here. Let's get into this topic. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'll just say this. You know, what you're going to get when you're listening to us here on this podcast is, you know, we're going to do my wife and I, we're actually going to do a separate podcast. We're going to share our journey. And we've done this like a couple of times already over on our YouTube platform. And, but we're going to do it. We're going to actually do a series. It's going to be a short one, but we're going to break down our testimony. We're going to talk about our journey into Christianity, out of Christianity, into the Hebrew space, and then out of the Hebrew space. And we're going to really talk about that in detail. And I think it'll be probably a half an hour every episode. And it'll be something that you can share with, you can listen to on your own time and, share with friends and family and all that. And we just want to do that, just to make it, easier for people to listen to, so that you can hear and kind of get to know us and where we coming from and all of that. And, we want to share that. So just be on the lookout for that. We're going to have a separate podcast for that. That will be coming up really soon. But as you listen to us, even I'll talk about the news or anything else, from time to time, you will hear me make references to some of that, some of those ideologies and stuff like that. So where that's coming from, now okay? And this conversation here is no exception. I have heard, people say, and they would use the Bible for this, that, in some weird way that white skin basically is a sign of a curse. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, there is an incident in Scripture where someone was cursed, and their skin turned white because they were cursed with leprosy because they cursed God or they cursed one of the prophets. It was something like that. So they were cursed with leprosy, and then the leprosy turned their skin white. So people use that as a basis to say that one of the reason why is white people are white people are cursed, and the proof of it is that their skin is white. And one of the many things I noticed, just in the Hebrew space, but I'll just say in the Negro space, how about that? I'll just put it like that, is that our people have a way of cobbling together these different things, and then we piece it together and we say, okay, see, it's fact. We have a history of doing it, but we don't ever, very few of us will take the time to unravel it and say, what is this actually based on? You understand what I'm saying? So I wanted to take aim at this particular claim here regarding, that white skin somehow is, a curse. And what people will oftentimes do, and I do, and when I was in the Hebrew space, some of this I actually was repeating. But it's always healthy to go back and see, you know what, I was wrong. Let me correct that, and let me give an example. Like you will hear people say that you will hear they will say that, Jewish people, you could tell that they are not, that Israel was never their land because, as white people, their skin wouldn't be able to handle all of that heat. And then they'll say the same thing about Egypt, that white people never could possibly never have existed for a long period of time in Egypt because of the sun. And, and then they'll just say they'll use that part. Right. Then they will say that when you look at Israel, you'll see that Israel has some of the highest rates of skin cancer. Right. And so that is their other proof that, hey, they could never survive in that climate because look at the high rates of skin cancer. Now, these are pieces that I'm talking about. But see, how you arrange those pieces, it depends on the motive of the person that's doing the arranging. Okay. But we're going to look at facts. We're going to look at the actual facts here. And then we're going to also look at the logic. Okay. So we're going to look at the facts of this whole skin cancer thing. And then we're going to also look at the logic, because the logic has to carry over across the board. It has to be consistent. Okay. So let's start off with if, when someone makes the claim that, again, they say that white skin is a sign that, it's a curse from God, that you're cursed because you have light skin. Okay. So you do know that there are black people who are albinos, right? Albinism is a condition that some people are just born with. And you've seen that. You've seen people you might be one yourself, where your skin is white and then even all your hair is white, like your eyebrows, eyelashes, and even hair on top of your head, all white. And so that you have lighter skin. And so people will look at that. And so, okay, so you got white skin, white hair, all of that. So are these people, but they're black. You got white people that are born, other races too, but black people, you have black people who are born with albinism. So based on what you're saying here, does that mean that they're cursed as well? Let's stop there for a second, and then I'm going to jump over to the facts part of my response here, and then we're going to jump back to some other examples, okay? Okay, so when you do a search, and I would encourage you to do this, again, I don't have this hidden anywhere. You can look this up yourself. Now, we have been on this platform, we've been really looking into this claim about how cancer is hereditary. And more we're looking at this thing, the more and more we're seeing that I don't think that's the case. I think it's related to some other things, things that tend to be more internal. Okay. And there's been quite a few studies out here that people have done to say that, yeah, it's actually cancer is largely due to diet. Okay. Again, I will stress the fact that this is a hotly debated conclusion. But yeah, diet does play a major role in cancer. The other thing about cancer is that cancer is basically your body's way of saying, wait a minute, now there's a lot going on here, that's in your body, and I need to kind of squash this thing. You know what I'm saying? And we need to kind of gather all this stuff together because this ain't right, and so your body will do its part to try to squash it. Okay. Now give me a moment here because I have a video here that I want to play. I'm so glad I remembered it. But I want to play this video. Well, you're listening, so it's going to be an audio, because this also will help out as well with this, what I'm trying to say here, as soon as I can bring it up here. Okay. Here it is. Okay. So I'm going to bring this over here. And then I'm going to play it because I want you to hear it, okay? It's coming over now, and I'm watching it come over. I want you to listen to what this person has to say, And then we're going to look at a little bit more here. Okay. All right, here it is. Okay, so it's been transferred over, and let me play the audio for you. Take a listen to what is being said here, okay? Let's take a listen.
People with darker skin, people from maybe Africa or India or South Asia, they're more equatorial regions. They're closer to the equator, and there's more UVB radiation throughout the year. And so as a protective mechanism to not get burned, you have melanin, which protects you, right? The problem is that melanin also blocks your ability to produce vitamin D. But if you're out in the sun all the time, in a place where you're getting UVB radiation, it's not a problem.
Well, this is the very reason why people in places like Scotland and England have such pale skin.
Exactly.
It's cloudy all the time, so your body sort of develops its own ability to absorb more vitamin D.
Exactly. So what happens when you take a person from South Asia, from India, from Africa, and you put them in Sweden or in Minnesota or in the UK, a place where UVB radiation doesn't hit most of the year, and you don't give them a supplement? What happens is they become severely vitamin D deficient. People with dark.
Okay, so there you go. So there was a lot there, and my apologies for the music. That had nothing to do with it. That was just in the video there. So basically, what she's saying is that white people, their environment, if you will, their ideal environment is to be in, when they're coming out of, ones that came out of Europe and all of that, their white skin, when it comes to the sunlight or whatever, you've heard it, that they can tend to make their vitamin D. Their body's able to make that vitamin D like because the way their skin is, they have less melanin, so the body can generate that vitamin D rather quickly. When it comes to Africa, now it's now when they get into a much hotter climate or a climate that has a lot more sun, you would think that, that's where they start getting cancer then. Well, wait, hold on. Don't jump ahead of me. Okay. Because that would be a logical conclusion, but let's continue. Then she went on and said that, with black folks, on the other hand, we have to stay out longer. That's typically what you hear. So our body can make adequate amounts of vitamin D. And, so black folks, this is why we could stay out a whole lot longer. But the key, and that's how our bodies can generate vitamin D. But of course, vitamin D and sunlight, and it's a primary way, but there's other ways you can get vitamin D as well. But that's a separate topic. But anyway, so one would assume that, like what I was saying is, okay, white people go into in a climate with a lot of sunlight. That means they're going to get a lot. Therefore, there's going to be a high level of skin cancer. That's what you assume, right? Well, let me tell you, that assumption is not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. So let's take a look here at the highest rates of skin cancer around the world. Okay. You have, and then I'm going to go through the list here. Okay. So you have Australia. That's number one. I'm going from number one all the way to 20. Australia, New Zealand, Switzerland, Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, Germany. Number 10 is the United Kingdom, Canada, United States. Number 12, Ireland, France. Number 14, Italy, Spain, Israel. Israel's all the way at number 17. Portugal, number 18, Greece, and Uruguay ends wraps up at number 20. Okay, so these in this order is how they said the highest rates of skin cancer or melanoma. Okay. Now, Australia, it does get a lot of sunlight. Okay. One can easily conclude that it's because it's a lot of sun down there. They're getting a lot of cancer. That's possible. Okay. But it gets a little interesting when you look at the top 10 states here in the United States that have the highest rates of skin cancer. Same thing. All right. And I'll go through in order. The highest rates of skin cancer, Utah, number 1, Vermont, number 2, number 3, Delaware, number 4, New Hampshire, number 5, Minnesota. Are you noticing something here? Number 6, Idaho, number 7, Oregon, number 8, Washington. Number 9, Wisconsin. Number 10, Connecticut. And I don't have the full list here, but guess what state has the least amount of melanoma or skin cancer? New Mexico. You know how much sun New Mexico gets? They get a ton of sun, more so than many of these states here that I just mentioned to you. So can we conclude that sunlight is a main factor of melanoma? Can we conclude that? I would say, based on this, I think it's part of it, but I don't think it's the full. I don't think it tells the whole story. You know, when it comes to skin cancer, I still tend to believe that it also is tied. It's tied to other things as well. I do tend to believe that. But let's look at the United States list here. Delaware. If you've ever been to Delaware, it's the 3rd highest state in the nation of cases of melanoma. Delaware isn't exactly known to be the sunshine state. I mean, it's not really. So that right there, it really throws a monkey in the wrench, so to speak, as far as this whole conclusion that it's because of too much sunlight. That, you know, it's so, no, you know, so you really going to have to look at some other factors as well. What could cause that? What are some of those factors? Some of the factors could be, from what I understand, is as a person gets older, you know, the tendency to build, you know, to get that, you know, someone to get skin cancer, it goes up greater because, you know, your body's starting to break down. So people who tend to have melanoma, they tend to be on the, you know, a little bit older, you know, but it's not something you don't see too many young people getting that. There's a lot tends to be people who are older. As it pertains to Israel, in Israel's case, when you look at Israel, a lot of those people that are in Israel today, yes, they came from Europe. They came from an environment to where, you know, they're more, you know, they came out of Europe. They came out of Germany. They came out of Belgium. They came out of, and these places like, you know, when you're talking about Germany, Switzerland, the Netherlands, where you had a lot of Jews, well, guess what? They're ranked pretty high with skin cancer. So all they did was move from one skin cancer place, and then they went to Israel, where it just probably got a lot worse. And plus, a lot of these people are a lot older. You understand what I'm saying? So those are factors that you have to include in this. All right. So what we're doing right now is, Dwayne, you're just saying a lot. Of course I am, because you can't just make one blanket statement. There's other things that you have to factor in order to come up with any kind of conclusion. So that's that part of, those are the facts that we know. When we unravel this whole claim, we got to look at these other facts. Okay. Now let's go back to what I was saying in terms of logic. Okay. You know, again, I talked about the albinos, right? If you're going to say, well, first of all, you got to establish who's the one that's doing the cursing. You got to establish that first, but that's besides the point. Then we talked about albinos, right? Are black albinos, are they cursed? Well, how about black folks who have lighter skin? Black people who have lighter skin, that means they have less melanin in their skin. Does that mean that they were born cursed? You see what I'm saying? The logic has to carry all the way out. If you're going to say that, the logic has to carry all the way out. Then where does this whole curse thing stop? You have Asians, for example, that are born with, they don't have the double eyelids. They just have that single one. You know, does that mean that they were born cursed? You know, is that a curse as well? You know, there are black people who just downright don't like their hair. You know, they don't. And, you know, there's some good things that, you know, that we love about our hair. And there's some other things that can get on our nerves. But I think what's funny about that is no matter who you talk to, regardless of what hair they have, they always got something to complain about. You know, especially when you're talking to the ladies, it's always something that, no matter what race you're talking about, they always got something to complain about their hair, and each race want each other's hair. I mean, that's just how it works. But can someone say that black people in this conversation, we're cursed, our hair is cursed? Where does this begin? But really where the statement begins, where you have to go back to the person who's saying this, you got to ask them, okay, well, who's doing the cursing? And what facts do you have to establish that? You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is like one of those things that I like to really kind of, let's take our time. Let's hit the brakes a little bit and really let's look at this, and instead of just repeating things, because especially in this social media world, we love to just simply repeat things, especially if it's a meme or it's a 2-second video clip or whatever. We really got to, because see, I'm tired of our people looking ignorant. You know what I'm saying? I really am. And on this topic of not just skin cancer, but cancer, period. It's like I said, I do believe that sunlight does play a role, but I don't think it's the role, because you do have, like going back to Egypt, for example, you had Egyptians that were not just living that were white. I'm talking about, when I say Egyptians, I'm talking about, let me erase that, because people want to say, no, they weren't Egyptians. Okay. They were Greeks. These were Europeans that came into Egypt and took on the persona of Egyptian. Okay. You like that one better? That's what I'm trying to say. And they not only lived there, but they actually thrived there. And these people were white. So, but when you listen to some people, they think they want to act like white people. As soon as they step out in the sun, they're like, the sun is melting. You and I both know you can go to just about any beach and these white people can stay out there for hours and be fine. Not all of them getting skin cancer. You know what I mean? But it does increase with them if they're out there too long, which is why, like I said, again, I do think sunlight is a factor, but I don't think it's the only factor. You know what I'm saying? And then also, is it a curse? I don't think it's any more of a curse than someone eating pizza 24/7. You're going to get fat and you're going to get high blood pressure. There's just certain things you just shouldn't do based on your body type. You understand what I'm saying? So those are things that, it's just something to really think about. And I thought it was just a really interesting topic there. And I wanted to take some time and explore it. And I hope you guys got something out of it. But that's it, family. That's all I have for you for this broadcast, this edition of Digital Plantation. Remember, make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet to the podcast. Again, it's Digital Plantation. And then you can also go to our other podcast of Tech Tribes. Go ahead and subscribe to that one as well. I'm going to be dropping another podcast stream, I believe, later this week. And I'll be telling you more about that as well. So anyway, this is Dwayne again for Digital Plantation. You guys take care, and I'll see you next time.